Today's video is going to be a little bit different, but that's okay. As you guys know, I recently turned 27, which is crazy, and we're actually coming up on 27,000 subscribers, which is also crazy. I've been making YouTube videos for the last 5 years. I started my channel in 2020 when I was 22 years old. I was very involved in the creative space in my city in South Africa. I was doing a lot of murals around the city, and I was doing a lot of graphic design stuff as well. I was working in an agency at that time. I was living at home. Now, fast forward 5 years from there, I'm living in France. I'm married. I have 2 beautiful little sausage dogs. I'm working in AI and Web3 Tech. I'm fully freelance and self-employed. I no longer work for someone else. And yeah, it's just crazy how much things can change completely in 5 years. Anyway, back in 2020, I actually filmed a video all about my journey as an artist. So for those of you that don't know, yes, I am a graphic designer and creative director. I work in Web3 Tech. A lot of my projects and clients are all AI related, metaverse, Web3, blockchain, NFTs, VR, AR, AI, all of that sort of stuff. And that is what I currently do right now, but 5 years ago, that's not what I was doing. So I stumbled across this old video that popped up in my archives, and I thought, you know what, let me add this into a video today and play it for you guys, and it'll just show you where I came from and my background in art and how I've always loved art. I've been creating art, making stuff, drawing and painting ever since I was tiny. And the video I'm going to show you is a video that I created 5 years ago about my journey and how it started. I also include stuff like the competitions that I won when I represented South Africa in Russia for graphic design. That's also in the video. So you can sit back, watch the video and kind of just get a feel for me and my history. And if you've ever wondered how I came to be where I am today, this is kind of part of my journey. This is kind of just like a little check-in, and it's interesting to see how much life has changed in the last 5 years, and I'm excited for the future and to see what's going to happen in the next 5 years. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and enjoy! For this week's HanSelah video, I decided it would be cool to do kind of like a little story time video. Often in general conversation, I get a lot of people asking me, when did you get into art? Or at what age did you start drawing? When did you realize you wanted to be an artist or a designer? And I thought about it and I wondered, when was it that I had this like epiphany or moment of realization? So I looked through the archives. Basically, my mom kept this book called My Years at School, and every year she used to write what our favorite things were, what our hobbies were, what we wanted to be when we were older, all of those sort of things. This is what I found. So those were snippets of lines in the book from every year starting from when I was 2 years old. I guess you could say I've always wanted to paint and draw ever since I guess I could hold a paintbrush or a pencil, but that sort of click and realization, I was like, this is something I could totally do. I was 10 or 11 years old, and that's when I joined the art club in school, like the official art club, which I thought was like the most exclusive club to be in. Anyway, that's when my passion for art kind of exploded, and then when I got to high school I was like, nope, I'm going to do this as my career. I don't know what careers there are that involve the arts, but I want to do that and I want to create things every day. And fast forward to where I am today, and that's exactly what I do. Today I am a graphic designer. I studied visual communication at university. I've been doing my honours part-time, so it's been 5 years of crazy studying, or not really studying, so we don't write exams, it's all pretty much prac work. Okay, no, there is theory work, but it's not like, you don't get tested on it, it's not like an exam. We did more like essays and that kind of stuff, so I've been very lucky. I haven't written an exam since I was in high school, which was 5 years ago. Anyway, so throughout this video you're going to see work from when I was 11 through to 22, which is obviously where I am now in the year 2020. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you do, and please subscribe if you want to see more creative content like this. I am also on Instagram, and I've linked my handle down in the description, so be sure to check that out if you want to see more of my digital artwork that I haven't necessarily been able to put into this YouTube video. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. 2009, I was 10 turning 11, and these are some of the pieces that I did over the year.
This was my favorite piece that I did when I was 11 years old. It was a pastel piece. I kind of did it in a Van Gogh kind of style. Anyway, I absolutely loved this one. I was super proud of it. So this was my first star piece. Moving on to age 12, I was in grade 7, it was 2010, and this was my star piece. And again, it was in pastel. I seem to work a lot in pastel in primary school, but not so much in high school or out of school.
So throughout this video, there is going to be a lot of artworks, but I'm definitely not going to show all of my artworks because that video would take forever. I have thousands of pieces of art in my studio. These two paintings of sheds I did in oil, and this A3 pencil work I was very proud of. 2011, I was 12 turning 13, and everywhere I went in grade 8 I carried the sketchbook and I used to draw all my stationery when I got bored in class. But eventually I ran out of stationery to draw because I had drawn everything, and so I moved on to drawing my snacks and flowers and thorns that I found on the field during break. And pretty much anything that I could reference and draw from still life, I would draw it. I also used to draw a lot of these woven creatures, and I used to doodle and sketch and shade. I used to experiment with shading different textures as well. This artwork, my art teacher actually made me draw it completely upside down, because when you draw upside down, you look at the object differently and you draw what you are actually seeing and not what you think you are seeing.
This was my favorite piece of grade 8, and I found the reference image for this photo in a magazine. So it was about this big in the magazine, and I blew them up on an A4 and I absolutely loved it.
2012, I was 13 turning 14, and I used to draw these kind of robotic mechanic creatures in pencil crayon, and I really enjoyed drawing them. I also used to doodle a lot. And this was the year that I mainly focused on drawing eyes and hands and working on my facial features and drawing portraits.
This was my favorite piece of 2012. I think I entered this one into a competition. I don't think I won anything, but I remember being very proud of it.
Moving on to 2013, I was 14 turning 15, and
this was my favorite piece of 2013. You guys are going to see a lot of portraits and hands throughout this video. Portraits have always been and will always probably be my favorite thing to draw. I really enjoy them because every portrait follows the same sort of guidelines and proportions, and yet they all turn out really differently because everyone's facial features are obviously so different.
So in 2013, I was drawing a lot more portraits, but I moved on to drawing a lot more animals as well. You can see my eyes have definitely improved from the previous year, and so has my shading techniques. It's really gotten a lot better. This was grade 10, and I was doing a lot of drawings, and I was starting to branch off into different mediums as well, such as charcoal and pastel and pencil crayon on the occasion. These are morphed creatures that I actually drew on a plane ride to Cape Town in 2013. I was a bit bored, but it was for a school project.
2014, this was my favorite piece, part of the series that I did for a school project.
So here I was 15 turning 16, and again I really started to branch, not necessarily away from pencil, but just adding onto my pencil skills with other mediums. And again, I was practicing facial features and proportions and hands and body parts, and really just working on my still life drawings. This year was very much about looking at objects and drawing what I saw. I also played a lot with texture and drawing different textures and different objects. But yeah, it ended up being quite an experimental year, and I really played around and got to try a whole bunch of different things in 2014.
2015 was my matric year, and this was my favorite piece of matric. It's pencil on card. It's Captain Jack Sparrow because I was pretty obsessed with Johnny Depp at the time and Pirates of the Caribbean.
I was 16 turning 17, and this was the year I really started to experiment a lot more with different mediums. Predominantly pencil was my main medium, but I did definitely branch off. And this year I just experimented so much. These are snippets from my final
art exam. The theme was fragility, and I did all forms of fragility that humans face. It was a really cool project, and I did really well, and I was really, really proud of it as well. Again, just experimenting a lot. These were some doodles that I did. So I've constantly doodled ever since I was younger, and I kind of also started to branch off into acrylic as well towards the end of my matric year. This is my favorite piece of 2016, which was my first year out of school. I actually did this on like the 6th of January or something, so it was like the very beginning of 2016. And then this piece I did towards the end of 2016 or mid 2016. It was part of the university project, and we had to do a self-portrait, so I did it in gouache. 2016, I was 17 turning 18. It was my first year out of school. I had started my first year at varsity studying graphic design and visual communication. For university, every week we would also do figure drawing classes, but I haven't included any of my nude drawings because I don't really know what YouTube's guidelines is on that kind of stuff. We did a lot of drawing in the first year at university. Here we were at the yacht club, and we spent a freezing winter's morning drawing yachts. This project was a typography project, and this one we had to draw one of our peers. I did it in gouache paint. 2017, I was 18 turning 19. This year I don't have many traditional works because most of it was digital. 2017, here's another self-portrait that I did. It was a mixed media piece with pencil and gouache on canvas. Then in 2018, which was my third year of varsity, I started a series called 52 Weeks of Art. And I created this series because I felt that in the previous year I hadn't really done that much traditional work. So every week for 52 weeks I created a new piece of art, whether it was a painting or a digital work. This was one of the art pieces that I had done. It's the Mad Hatter done in pencil crayon on card. 2018 was also the year that I got the opportunity to create murals, and this was such an awesome opportunity for me where I really got to paint on a larger scale and learn a lot more. These murals were all done at a school, and the kids absolutely loved them and loved watching me paint as well. As part of a drawing project in 2018, I had to enter a local packaging design competition. I ended up winning the national competition, which was crazy. It really showed how much support the creative community can get, especially since all the voting was done via Instagram. Part of this competition, my university ran a separate competition, which I also ended up winning, and that gave me the opportunity to get my iPad and my iPencil, which opened up so many doors when it came to digital drawing thereafter. I also won a 1-month internship to one of the most awesome creative agencies around. 2019, I got into a lot of digital art as well, and this was one of the digital prints that I had done for an exhibition. I asked some of my friends what their favorite animals were, and then I illustrated their favorite animals. I really enjoy digital illustration, and if you want to check out my digital work, you can see it on my Instagram, which I've linked in the description. I was also painting lots of murals this year as well and learning a lot about all the different techniques you can create with murals. I painted at a coffee shop, at a school, at a flower market, at people's homes and their lounges. It was really cool. Also in 2019, I won gold at the National World Skills South Africa competition for graphic design technology, which led me to then compete in Kazan, Russia in August of 2019. Hi there, my name is Hannah Smith. I'm the graphic design technology competitor. It was hands down one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had, and I could actually create an entire video just on my time in Russia. And lastly, 2020, which is where I am now. These are 2 gouache paintings that I have done, or 2 of the mini gouache paintings that I've done during lockdown. They're a lot more hyper-realistic than my other artwork, and I'm very proud of them. I can't wait to see what other things I can create. I want to put them as part of like a Big 5 series and then do all of the Big 5. I found during lockdown I had way more screen time than I was used to, and so I started doing these gouache paintings in the evenings. And I've also played around with pencil, pen, pastel, acrylic paint, oil paint, all sorts, and I really enjoyed it. I actually did a whole portrait pastel video, which I can link to the end of this video if you guys want to check it out. It was lots of fun, and considering I hadn't worked in pastel for really long, I was really impressed with how they came out. But yeah, otherwise this is kind of a little snippet summary vibe of what I've done so far, and I hope to create many more pieces of artwork from here on out. So just as a comparison in my work from 2009 to 2020, just having them side by side, you guys can see how I have progressed over the years. Obviously I still have so much to learn, and I can't wait to see what type of artwork I'll be producing in 5 years time from now. But yeah, so I hope this kind of inspired some people to get creative. If you have any favorite pieces of work, I know that I flipped through them very quickly, but if you have any that have stood out, I would love to know which ones those were or which one that was. So let me know in the comments. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this sort of story time video today. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next Monday.